Welcome to our project video that shares our recent historical research into the economics of lighthouses and their long-term benefit to shipping in Britain. Lighthouses have long been symbolic of the nation's ingenuity and charity towards the mariner. Many a painting was commissioned to celebrate the engineering marvels, the battle against the elements, the heroes who tried and sometimes failed to protect life and property from the raging sea. Sailing in darkness when close to the coast was extremely dangerous. In the face of storms, getting into a port could be as risky as waiting them out at sea. But how did lighthouses work? I say did because they are now mostly secondary to GPS and miniaturised automated LED systems. We don't know much about the British historical lighthouse system, especially given it was a complex system involving lots of different light types. The current data is just too limited to study it in a rigorous way and beyond case studies. With the support of the Keynes Fund and as part of a wider project on transport and urbanisation in England and Wales, we have constructed a new dataset to bring lighthouses into our overall analysis of Britain's historical transport network. The Keynes Fund has supported us in this journey since 2018, funding our data-led research and associated publications. We have been busy building LAN and now FLAN for France to understand the extent and nature of these complex historical lighthouse systems, 1600 to 1911. We have started to add Scotland and wish to do the same for Ireland next. We've used our data to enter the lively debate amongst historians and economists about lighthouses. Lighthouses are by their very nature non-excludable goods. Ships cannot always be charged when sailing far out at sea and can freeload on services provided by an entrepreneur. Strange as it may seem, all lighthouses in England and Wales before the 1800s were built by private individuals and institutions. As a result, this market failure seems to have required state intervention, although this is hotly debated. We are now in the company of some very heavyweight contributors indeed. But were these early private lighthouses, funded by public tolls, any good? And why and how did they improve over time? Exploring these questions using our data, this paper was recently submitted to the Economic Inquiry, covering the period 1800 to 1830. We found early government intervention in the form of parliamentary committee reports on toll pricing and service quality coincided with cost reductions after 1815 when war ended with France. Some owners responded to calls from Parliament to reduce their tolls. Other, less responsive private operators were abolished in 1836 by forced purchasers. We show that Trinity House likely won out because it needed fewer toll collectors and benefited from other scale advantages. Many lights in land were harbour lights, which have not been considered by other scholars and were not included in any other historical dataset that we know of. Because of this advantage, we were able to show their importance among the more well-known lighthouses. We found that harbours provided cheap and effective lighting services, covering much of the coastline by 1830. We also found that they were able to bundle lighting with other harbour services and share their running costs. Our geospatial dataset shows how new lamps and optics transformed lighting after 1780 and by 1830. Everyone adopted better technology by this time. Most previous analyses of lighthouses and their economics have been country-specific, including ours. We now have an opportunity to compare England with France. One question we have is about the centralised system of lighting provision in the latter. It has been stated that it was better to the English, market-led system of lighting. We can test this with our new data. If private provision of lighthouses was prone to market failure, then did France do any better with its centralised lighthouse system? France appears to have been a very slow starter compared to Britain, incredibly slow considering its maritime trade with its colonies. This animation shows a lesser importance of coastal trade to the French economy, a much slower degree of national and commercial integration, possibly because of different customs regimes limiting trade. It also seems to indicate that the revolution was a key turning point, even before the centralised state organises lighting after 1820. After 1820 there was a very successful development and state-backed coverage. We predict that the French economic, centralised model likely brought costs down by the 1820s, thanks to the rapid adoption of new Fresnel lenses. These reduced fuel and labour inputs and made the system more reliable. Another big question for us is, how did the presence of a light improve local safety? We have recently geo-referenced sources that give the position of wrecks around the UK from 1850. These data will help us spot positive local effects of lighthouses that were built in the 19th century. We still don't know what effect light actually had on shipping. The assumption is that lights were useful, but we don't really know how useful. We've amassed a large database of lunar phases stretching back to 1600, when there were few lighthouses, showing how bright it was on any given night. With this, we will reinterrogate our data for ship journey speeds, going back to this same period, to find out if ships sailed any faster in periods around the full moon. This should provide some evidence of the impact of later, artificial light on Britain's important maritime economy. We hope to continue to address the broader questions about market failure, which are so central to the economics of lighthouses. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video.